So we stayed at Nelson's Wharf.
Willow Wren Training last night.
George doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, George is totally hiding underneath the camper van right here. So we're going to have some...
Caravan.
It's a caravan?
Yeah.
Okay. Apparently that's a different thing. So...
camper van's got an engine.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, so we're going to back out and turn and go up the Grand Union towards Itchington.
I just looked at the map, like we didn't really know what was ahead of us because we were just too concerned with getting here. It's like a flight of 8 locks, like...
Yeah, right away.
Okay then, that's what we're doing today.
This will be good fun, good fun. There were 2 boats that went past a little while ago, so people are moving. Hopefully we...
Yeah, I'm wondering if we stay there for like 10 minutes and hopefully another boat will come along.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, the good thing is we can look behind us and see whether or not there's anybody coming.
It's a long straight, isn't it?
So, hopefully we catch somebody.
All we have to do is get George out from under the van, otherwise we're staying
Which I'm
here.
not sure how we're going to do that.
Alright.
Alright, should I go do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's George's back.
Hi, George.
What's the idea here, George? Huh? What's the idea? George thinks... George, you gonna stay here? Well, I don't think that's gonna work, George. Well, I don't think that's gonna work, George. Look, got your ball. One thing. And for another thing... Come on, George. Come on. Oh, you silly dog.
You're not getting your ball.
Oh, shit.
Because the water was so low, we stuck to the centre of the pound to move into the next lock. But the boat we were swapping with got grounded out in the pound and they couldn't get into the lock above. So we had to wait while they let some water down. If we'd have gone through our lock, the pound would have emptied even further. And then because we waited, another boat turned up that was also coming down. So now we had someone to share the rest of the locks with.
Ongoing traffic jam. First, people through the locks before us apparently left a bunch of gates, well, a bunch of paddles open, so they drained the lock so we couldn't get through. So we had to help the guys behind us come through. We've had to do multiple lock openings and closings, and now we've got multiple boats. Good fun.
And then these 2 boats came out of the next lock and shut the gates behind them, even though they could see us in the lock above. And because they shut the gates, the lock started draining because the lower gates were leaking. So there's been a slight change of plan.
We didn't stop in Itchington.
We didn't stop after the Stockton locks.
We're on our way to Leamington Spa.
We ended up going through with a boat, and they've got to get their hire boat back to Leamington Spa, and they were quite good to share locks with.
And most importantly, they know there's a Lidl over there, so we're basically trying to feed an addiction.
Is that why we're doing it?
I think so. I mean, it's convenient as well, and it helps them, but mainly
It's for the chocolate croissants.
Yeah.
There was a boat moored on the lock landing as we exited lock 19, just opposite some overgrown vegetation and on a slight bend. This made it really hard to get out of the lock without hitting the boat. Particularly annoying as 100 metres along there was lots of free visitor mooring spaces.
So we made it to Leamington Spa.
Which is also a cake in Australia.
Just a little. That's the reason. Like, we came here, we pushed way further than we intended to.
We were just going to cruise for 3 hours.
9.5 hours of cruising.
It wasn't that long, it was about 7.
Like 7 hours, whatever. Too many hours of cruising.
So it was quite an adventurous day. We got to Stockton top lock, went in the lock, letting the water out so the boat went down, and I noticed the pound below was about 1.5 foot down. So I looked to the below, there was no one there, and these locks, they've got these bars that go up. Pins
that indicate whether or not, well, they don't just indicate, but
so you can see if, and they've got white paint on the end, so you're supposed to be able to see if they're up. So I went back to tell Michael that the pound was low, but we carried on, and then I looked down again and it was like it had dropped even further. It was like over 1 metre down, like you could see all the sandbank on both sides. So I walked down towards it and I could spot that one of the paddles was up. So the boats that had gone through before us had for some reason left the paddle up,
which was very helpful of them.
And then there was a boat coming up at that stage, so we waited in the lock till they'd come up, because I said to them, are you sure you want to fill that lock because it's going to drain this pound? But they did. So then we waited in the lock, and then we were going to just swap places. So they opened their gates, we opened our gates. Michael drove
through what turned out to be a very narrow channel from one lock to the other. Felt little bits of sort of, not a lot of impacts, but a couple of impact on one side, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty shallow. Got into the other lock, they went out and went the other way.
And then they grounded out.
Yeah, completely grounded out.
Unsurprisingly. And then we thought, we can't drop the water from our lock because then it'll start taking water
More
from
water
the pound
from them.
above.
Yeah.
So they let some water through, they floated, they went in, they raised, and then there was another boat by that stage had turned up at the top to come through.
Yeah.
So they lowered, and obviously they brought through a lock full of water with them. Our boat was in the second lock, and even though we had both gates shut and the pedal shut, it started leaking, so it was dropping. So then when you dropped the pedals in the top lock, I had to drop the pedals in this lock to get the foot of water back so I could open the gate so that boat could come and join us in the lock. And then by that stage another boat had turned up 2 locks down, but the water was in our favour, so they had to wait for us because we didn't want to waste the water. And then there was more boats, and then there was
More locks.
and there was more confusion.
I think we went down 2 locks, and then there was
Another boat behind us.
yeah, and then there was 2 boats who came through in front of us, and they'd come through and
that was
close
it.
the gates.
Yeah, that was it.
Because the woman who was on the lock, she said that she hadn't seen us, and it's like
You're talking
it's
to
a
us.
straight set of locks. You're
And they're
looking
really-
at like 90 different.
They're really close, and they were waiting in those locks for us to come down so that they could go into the locks that we were in.
Yeah.
And yet they'd pulled out into the pound and shut the gates behind us. So at the last minute I looked down and I was like, why have they shut the gates?
Yeah,
So
'cause we've got nowhere to go.
I had to run down and open the gates, because otherwise there'd have been 4 boats bobbing around in this little
In a
pound.
tiny little pound. And one of the boats is being driven by a guy who is running like a Mavica drone that's up above the lock, and he spends more time looking at the controller for the drone than he does looking at what he's
And
doing.
he's also got a poodle on the back of the boat that doesn't want to be on the boat, so he's got the poodle on a really tight lead.
Just too much
And then
distraction.
those 2 boats drove into the next lock together, which like some people do. Like, it's not really what you're supposed to do, I think, but some people do it. But I don't know what they were doing, but they were just bouncing off each other and the walls.
We found ourselves at the bottom of the lock looking back going, at the bottom of the flight looking back going, well, where'd everybody else go? So we think that possibly those 2 boats and the drone just got jammed in, and everyone is stuck in the Stockton flight now and hasn't moved since.
Possibly. And then we were going to stop. There was like the 2 more locks at ITCHINGTON, I think, and we were going to stop there maybe for the day and just have an afternoon of work and relaxing. But then the couple that we were going down with were pushing through to Leamington because they had to get their hire boat back tomorrow morning, and it's 19 locks in total that we did today with them. And we were like, well, it would help them out if we went with them, because then they'd have someone to share with us.
And then we were like, and there's a Lidl.
Which is the main reason.
Maybe we should push up to Leaminton Spa. And then we can go into Lidl and get some chocolate croissants.
It's really nice. It's really nice to be on somewhere like new ground after repeating the Oxford and repeating some of the Thames.
Literally new ground, like we were nearly on the ground. Because that first lock, the very first lock of the Stockton locks, was where during our training with Willow Wren, when we did the course, we didn't go through that lock.
No,
we went into it and then turned around and went back the other way. So we sort of saw the lock but didn't go through it. And this time we went through it, and the first thing we do is nearly ground out on a bunch of mud. So
it was a good day, really good day.
It was a fun day.
So yeah, we came much further than we wanted to. So we're kind of thinking that we're going to cruise one day, have one day off, cruise one day, have one day off. But later this week is like 4 days rain forecast. So now we're thinking, should we have 4 days on and then 4 days off?
Yeah, we might just keep moving until the rain.
But we want to visit Leamington. Like, Michael's never been here, and we want to visit Warwick. So
Because Joe's never been there.
And
I don't know what a Warwick is, but it sounds interesting. It sounds better than whatever an Essex is. So.
Oh, controversial.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, still don't know. Anyway, yeah.
That's it. We need to eat croissants.
Yeah, we need to eat croissants or whatever is available at this point in Lidl's afternoon, because the bakery might be empty. But if the bakery's empty...
Check tofu. Not
tofu! Wait,
check cheese.
Tofu wasn't. Tofu shouldn't excite me.
No. Check the cheese. They sometimes have really good prices on cheese. Corn. They might have corn.
Okay. So check for everything.
Yeah, but curry hum with my croissants. And you want a fire?
Yeah. Fire good.
I'm ready to record now.
She's ready to record now.
Bloody hell.
Such a pavlova.
Michael thinks that pavlova is a palaver.
I don't think it anymore, but I wondered about it at
He
the
thought a
time.
palaver was a pavlova.
I got confused one day.
Can we get George on the boat?
You're in the way of the boat. Or that's not a boat, that's a boat. What a good George.
Mind the fire.
Yeah, mind the fire. Don't step on the fire.
It's the chimney, not the fire.
Whatever you do, don't step on the fire.